Gamers, today we are going to do the best ranged civilizations in Age of Empires 4. What I mean by ranged is units that can be built from archer ranges, so not including siege. I'll explain as I go, but it's pretty simple, right? I have done the best melee infantry, I have done the best trade civs, the best farming civs, and now we're on to the ranged units. So, with that being said, let's get started. When I was making this one, actually the results surprised me, because not only I'm going to show you guys, which civ is the best, which civ is the worst, but I also went and wrote down every single bonus for each civ and kind of try to compare them and so on and so forth. I might have missed some stuff, but, if I did, Twitch chat, I'm sure will correct me. So, with that being said, let's get started. Ottoman is going to be C tier. So first things first, for archers, crossbows, they have no bonuses, okay? They don't have any unique upgrades, they got no bonuses, and majority of the civs don't have any bonuses for archers and crossbows, so this is not really anything surprising. Then they have janissaries, which are unique units. They replace hand cannoneers. They have bonus damage against cavalry, so they're really good against cavalry, but they take bonus damage from range attacks. So it's like they're actually not bad. They're good, but they have their weaknesses, and I think most of the time you would just prefer to have hand cannoneers. Like if your opponent is massing cavalry, yeah, you would rather have janissaries. But if your opponent switches to like spearmen or men-at-arms or has hand cannoneers of their own, you would rather have your own hand cannoneers. So if you look at it that way, they're not too great. And last but not least, for Ottomans, they have Mehter, which gives them the attack speed, 15% attack speed for all their ranged units, which is literally the only reason why I put it C tier and not lower. So I will take in consideration auras, just like with the previous videos, like Network of Citadels or Mehter and so on and so forth. So the only reason why Ottoman is not lower is because they have Mehter and their archers and crossbows and janissaries have most of the time attack speed, right? But other than that, that's pretty much it. They can also produce them free from military schools, but On to the next one. Holy Roman Empire. F tier. Straight up. They have one bonus for archers, crossbows, and hand cannoneers. One bonus. And that bonus is marching drills, which makes it so that their infantry units move 10% faster. H3 has archer range? Yeah, they do. They do, actually. I mean, that's their only bonus. And this is actually not a terrible bonus in Feudal Age, like your archers moving 10% faster. But other than that, it just, most of the time with H3, you don't really make archers in the first place or crossbows. But if you do, the bonus is very meh compared to some of the other civs. Hand cannoneers having 10% movement speed is nice, but like I said, there's not a lot going on with HRE, so we're gonna give them the good old F tier. The next civ we are going to be talking about, I don't think to any surprise, is let's just get it out of the way. All right, let's just get it out of the way. Everyone knows it's English. Why English? Oh boy. Where do I start? Longbows. The best archer units in the game. They have the longest range. They have the most damage. In Feudal at least. Then they have a landmark that is on archer range that produces twice as fast. Then they have keep landmark, which is White Tower, that produces 100% faster. So they got a lot of like fast production for the crossbows or longbows if needed. So longbows have minus 10% movement speed. They cost 10 extra food, but like I said, they have more damage. I think it's like 1 or 2 more damage compared to archers, and they have more range. So they're very good in Feudal. Council can produce all 3 units 100% extra speed. You can also put some wooden sticks with longbows that can stun cavalry. They can be pretty clutch. You can use it in some situations and get pretty good value. Like you can defend your goals early on with longbows with what are they called? Palisades? It's not palisades. I don't know what's it called. Maybe it is. They have the campfire to heal, which is like, whatever. Who cares? Like no one really gets those anymore. And also longbows have a unique ability, or research, but yeah, it is an ability, which is to shoot like, I think now I don't know the numbers, it's like 75% faster attack speed once you activate it, and it's only Imperial. Palings, right, that's the one. So they get like super high attack speed. It doesn't last too long, but it's pretty good. Yeah, campfire also changes in the new season depending when you're watching this video. Thank you for pointing that out. Crossbows for English have no bonuses, and then also hand cannoneers don't have any unique bonuses. But the reason why English is S tier for ranged units is because of network of citadels, network of castles. So network of castles gives you 15% attack speed, and then if you upgrade it to network of citadels, it's 30% attack speed if you're fighting within a TC keep or a tower. And just like with Mekter, like you should always be fighting with Mekter if you're Ottoman. English should always be fighting, you know, under a tower, under a keep, or close to it, so you can get that bonus. And your unit just having 30% attack speed in Castle or Imperial is just insane. Like, hand cannoneers with 30% attack speed is crazy good. So that's what makes English S tier, and that's why I wanted to just talk about it immediately, so we can get that out of the way. Now let's talk about a good friend of English, if you will, the French. And we're gonna put French not too high. Alright, not too high. French is D tier. Now, it's kind of funny. I gave this one a lot of thought because French has the best crossbows in the game by far. Because they're actually the only civ that has unique crossbows. Or has a unique upgrade for their crossbows. But even with that, there's nothing else going on. And I'll kind of get into that. So their archers got nothing, their hand cannoneers got nothing. Although, if you build archer ranges within influence of the keep, they will have reduced cost for their archer units, or ranged units, archer range units, whatever you want to call it. Which is cool, right? But I don't like take that too much in consideration, because every civ has some kind of economic bonus, and this is just theirs, right? Achery has relics, English has farms that give gold, so it's just how their mechanic is and how it works. Their unique crossbow is Arbalètrier, which has a couple of different bonuses. So it has +1 melee armor in Castle, and then +2 melee armor compared to other crossbows in Imperial. They also have an upgrade that gives you +5 melee armor and 25% reload time. And they have an ability which is, I don't know what's it called, to throw down like the shield, pavis, and then you get extra ranged armor too. Now, if you compare these crossbows to the normal crossbows, you might be wondering why are they D tier, because this is like really good. Well, the reason for that is very simple. In the current meta, maybe this changes in the future. I doubt though, because I feel like out of all the civs, French civ is not very good for this unit, right? Maybe lore wise or whatever, but in the gameplay itself, it's not a very good unit for this civ. And they would do so much better on literally any other civ. So why are they not good? Well, if you play French, your main unit comp is going to be knights. Knights plus archers, mass knights, knight spearmen. You rarely are going to make the French crossbows. And the reason for that is the enemy will never make men-at-arms if you're French, because you have knights, so why would they make men-at-arms? So one of the two units that are Arbalètrier counters, you will never see, unless maybe from HRE, I guess, because they have heavy maces. And then the other unit that the opponent might also go for, that is armored, is knights. And if you're playing against French, you should never mass knights versus French knights, especially if they go Royal Institute in Castle, which is going to give them royal bloodlines. And this is why I put French D tier. Even though the crossbows are insanely good, you almost never ever see them because they have no use. If those crossbows were for literally any other civ, they would be made every single time, they would be massed, they would be produced, but it just doesn't fit into French playstyle, which is why I gave them the D tier. I gave them the D, basically. The next civ we're going to be talking about is another F tier. Can you guys in the Twitch chat guess which one that is? Another F tier. Wow, a lot of people saying opposite. No! It is Mongol. Mongol. The reason why Mongol is not a lot of bonuses. I mean, that's kind of it. And this is the... Okay, it's not the first unit. I guess we had longbows and arbaletrias, but it's like additional unit, I guess you can call it, with Mangudai. So even though Mangudai are cavalry, I am including them in this because it is a ranged unit. So what do Mongols have regarding bonuses? They got nothing for archers, nothing for crossbows, and nothing for hand cannoneers. They do have extra 10% military production from military academy upgrade, like the improved version that costs stone, which is like whatever, who cares. And then they have 15% movement speed from Yam network, which, you know, it can be pretty good in feudal. The problem is it's mostly used defensively because you're not going to have towers around your opponent's base and have movement speed all the time when you range units. But when you do have it, it's pretty nice to have 15% movement speed on your units. A little bit better than HRE, but HRE has it all the time. You're not dependent on towers to keep it up. You can also make double, you know, double produce with stone, but that doesn't last forever. It's kind of like, you know, you quick in and out. You make a couple of, you know, archers with double production and you're out of stone. And the last thing that, like I said, we'll discuss is the Mangudai. So Mangudai recently went through some changes. Again, I'm making this video as of right now in June 2023. If you watch it at a different time, the meta or the balance might be different. But Mangudai used to be pretty decent in feudal and pretty good in castle, and then like super good in imperial. And now they are pretty bad in feudal. The reason for that is they have higher attack speed, but they have lower damage, so they actually don't do any damage to knights. Like their damage against knights or horsemen is just pathetic, and their movement speed is slower or slow down as well. So horsemen and knights are faster than Mangudai. So yeah, castle Mangudai are pretty bad, and then imperial Mangudai again are pretty good, but you know, good luck getting there. And then switching over to mass Mangudai to actually do damage against your opponent. The next civ we will be talking about. Now this might, listen, this might come as a shock. I thought Rus is a lot better. But once you put it down on paper, you realize it kind of sucks actually. With that being said, Rus is C tier. Stop. Just stop. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I thought, when I started making this, I was like, oh, Rus is probably A tier. Because, you know, Streltsy and horse archers are not bad, and you know, yada yada, and all that is great. But let's look into their bonuses. Archers, crossbows, they have nothing. Now you can make a point that they do have wooden fortress, so they can produce more archers than other civs. But so can Ottoman with military academy, and they also have attack speed on top of that. Now, they have a unique hand cannoneer, which is called Streltsy. It's 25% cheaper than hand cannoneer, and if they don't move for 10 seconds, they gain 30% attack speed until they move again. Amazing. They also have a melee attack. A lot of people don't know this, but Streltsy actually have a melee attack. They pull out a sword and fight. And they attack for 50 in melee. And hand cannoneers are pretty good. You know, they're cheaper than hand cannoneers. They're pretty good. But at the end of the day, if you reach that Imperial, right, with a lot of gold and a lot of, I mean, food is never a problem. But if you reach Imperial and you got a lot of gold, it doesn't really change much if you got to pay 25% less or more, depending which civ you are for hand cannoneers. If you're in a position that you're amassing hand cannoneers or Streltsy, you're probably pretty good economically. Not to mention, you can just trade in the late game, super late game, and you have farms, so the cost, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's not as impactful as one might think. Then we got horse archers. Horse archers are pretty good, but not great. There used to be a time where the meta with Rus is rushing castle and then just massing horse archers and nothing else. You just mass horse archers and they were killing everything. Then they got nerfed. Then they got changed, some in Imperial. And these days, you kind of have an option. Do I either make knights or horsemen plus Streltsy, or do I make something plus horse archers? And you almost never see people make horse archers these days. Very rarely. Like, the only time I make them is when I'm out of gold, but then you can just trade. So, and if you want to raid, you can just make horsemen, right? I do think they have some play, but they're not very impressive in my opinion. Not very impressive. Now, we're gonna go on to Delhi. Where do you guys think Delhi is? I know what you're thinking. Not great. But I think Delhi is better than both Ottoman and Rus in terms of ranged units. And it's very simple. Why? And again, when I started making this one, I thought Delhi would be pretty, like, not great. But then when you compare it to other bonuses and stuff, it turns out it's pretty good. And the simple reason why Delhi is pretty good is Tower of Victory. They don't have any unique bonuses for hand cannoneers, crossbows, or archers, but Tower of Victory gives them 20% attack speed. And Ottomans have Mekter, which gives them 15%. You gotta keep it alive, you gotta actually make it. Delhi, as long as you have buildings producing within the like if they're connected to your Tower of Victory or to the influence zone, they just got 20% attack speed. Delhi ranged units can also build walls, which is very useful and can be very, very useful. And you pretty much use it in every single game, to be honest. You always make palisade walls with archers. Sometimes you even make stone walls in castle with them. And 20% attack speed on archers in feudal battles is massive. It makes them one of the best archer civs in feudal. Because of that, their crossbows are really good. The DPS is 20% higher, which is quite a lot. And then last but not least, their hand cannoneers do so much damage because of the 20% attack speed. So if you're wondering, like, why is Delhi ahead of Rus? Well, if it reaches that point, like, I think Rus is a better late game civ, but if it reaches a point where Delhi and Rus both have infinite amount of gold, Delhi will mow down Rus with hand cannoneers versus Streltsy. Doesn't matter that Streltsy are cheaper. For every 5 hand cannoneers, you basically have an extra one shooting, right? And well, it doesn't really work exactly like that, but you're gonna be able to do way more damage in DPS than your opponent will. And then you also have Forced March, which is 100% movement speed on your units. You're researching Blacksmith and Castle. 100% movement speed on your units for 10 seconds. Why is this great? Well, you can run away from cavalry. You can use Forced March to get a better position. You can relocate your units with Forced March. You can even do run-bys with ranged units, which is kind of funny. But in late game, you can actually snipe mangonels and snipe bombards and springolds with your hand cannoneers. You use Forced March, you go forward, you boop, tap them, and then you can go back as well. And then the last 2 units that Delhi has that are ranged is the Elephant Hand Cannoneer, which I'm not really taking this one in consideration too much because technically you're not building it from archer ranges, but you can get it from the landmark. They're obviously really, really good. But the tower elephant, it's in a weird spot. I think tower elephants are actually so strong, but they're so expensive. And if you're playing some kind of game where you have 10,000 gold and 10,000 food, if you actually make just mass war elephant and tower elephant, it kills everything. Absolutely everything. But they're just very expensive. But you have that option too, right? So that's it. And the last one is obviously they have 100% production if you put scholar inside of your buildings. So yeah, I think Delhi is B tier because of that. The next civ we'll be talking about is China. And China is going to be S tier. And probably the best range civilization in the game. It might be even in a league of its own, to be honest. Maybe I'll push down English, we'll see. But, I mean, where do I start? Where do I start? Well, China has nothing for archers, nothing for crossbows. But they have Zugunu, which are batshit insane. They are insane. They're getting nerfed soon, but they're probably still going to be insane. They basically do 3 damage per attack, no matter how much the armor the unit has. So Zugunu in Feudal can actually kill units in Castle if you have enough of Zugunu to just melt them down because of how fast they shoot and because you shoot 3 attacks in one auto attack, so to say. Also, Zugunu have 20% attack speed and 20 healing over 10 seconds if you have Spirit Way Landmark in Imperial. Spirit Way Landmark for Chinese, whenever a unit from that is unlocked by a dynasty dies, your other units gain 20% attack speed and 20 health over 10 seconds. So I would say Castle Zugunu are probably the suck the most. Feudal are really good, and then Imperial Zugunu are really good once you get incendiary arrows as well. So they have that. They can also be supervised. Any archery range units can be supervised to produce 100%, 50% faster. And you can have, for all your units, not just ranged, you can have 15% movement speed from Yuan Dynasty or 10% health from, as I like to call it, Ming Li Dynasty. So those are also the bonuses that China has. So you can go for more beefier range units, or you can go for, you know, faster range units, which you're probably going to go beefier if you're focusing on heavy ranged comp, right? Now, they also got Grenadiers, and Grenadiers are getting buffed next patch. And right now, Grenadiers are kind of, you know, they're too expensive, but I think that for what they're worth, but I think in the next patch, they're still too expensive, but they do so much more damage that if you get to the point of mass Grenadiers, nothing will kill you. I have a YouTube video testing the new Grenadiers for the new patch that's coming in about a week. I would suggest you look at it. They kill everything, guys. I mean, buildings, knights, men-at-arms, ranged units, mangonels, bombards, they kill everything. They're everything. Rams, yes, they kill everything. Also, what I did, if you make this is an interesting one. If you make a stone wall and there's a unit behind, if you kind of shove your Grenadiers on the other side and you try to attack the unit, because they're throwing projectiles, you can actually destroy stone walls with them. Which is insane. They're ranged units that can destroy stone walls. And now, if you thought that's crazy, those two. Let me tell you about Chinese hand cannoneers. Chinese hand cannoneers have a unique upgrade that gives them 1.5 tile range bonus. And this is the only civ that has increased range for their hand cannoneers. Not only that, China gets free, what do you call it? Gunpowder research in Imperial. The moment you hit Imperial with China, or chemistry, right? Chemistry is researched immediately, like for free. You don't gotta do anything. You just have it. So that's just another bonus they have. And with that being said, China is just insane, right? Now you do have a little bit of a trade-off between English and China. So China has 1.5 range, but English has 30% attack speed. Actually, I'm gonna keep English S tier. I think both of them are just really good ranged unit civs, and that's why they're S tier, baby. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is Malians, and this one was the hardest for me to figure out, and I spent a lot of time thinking about this one, where to put them, how to present them. I think I'm gonna have to give Malians A tier. Now, why are they not S tier or B tier? All their power with range units comes in castle. That's the thing. They're S tier in castle. They are OP as fucking castle with poison arrows. So let's go through the list what they have. So first thing that they have is they have a unique units. They have archers that are unique. They have javelin throwers, which are unique unit, and they have Musafati gunners, which are also unique. So let's go down through all of them. If it was just basing off of castle, I would probably put Malians as actually the best civ, because their archers get an upgrade in castle, which is called poison arrows, that deals damage over time on units, which makes archers actually kind of viable against armored units. You don't necessarily want to make archers to counter armored units, but they deal with them pretty well, and they increase their DPS so much. Then you have, the problem is they fall off in Imperial quite a lot. Then they have javelin throwers, which are actually, their peak performance, I would say, is in feudal, and later on they drop off. Like in castle, I would rather have archers. In Imperial, you would rather have Musafati gunners. But in feudal, they're actually pretty good, and they're anti-ranged unit, and they do that job pretty well. They have a lot of ranged armor, so if you ever, kind of enter some kind of feudal battle, prolonged feudal battle, javelin throwers are really good if the opponent is making ranged units, like against longbows or just archer from any civ. And then you have Musafati gunners, which have stealth ability, and if you build a landmark in Imperial, they will also wait, do you need to build a landmark to give stealth to them as well, or is it just the bonus damage? They just get the bonus damage, right? But if you build the keep landmark in Imperial, whenever you stealth with Musafati gunners, they get like some insane bonus damage on the first hit. I think it's like 50 or something. And I'm not even kidding, but you should make some Musafati gunners, stealth them with that landmark, and attack siege. They absolutely destroy them. So what else do they have? They have, which is, it's kind of like not ranged unit specific, but their sofas have a unique upgrade that makes your infantry move, I think, 15% faster if they're in range of that sofa. So you can actually buff up your movement speed of your units in battles if you have few sofas, which usually if you play Malians, you do. It's 75, it's 92 bonus damage on first hit with chemistry. Yeah, scout, not sofa. It's scout, it's sofa, brother. So They also have a unique upgrade in Blacksmith, which I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it increases the damage for javelin throwers and archers by +2, if I'm not mistaken. And that is an Imperial upgrade. So they don't have incendiary arrows, but they have this other upgrade. It's kind of like, you know, Mom, I want incendiary arrows. Mom's like, we got incendiary arrows at home. And then you go home and you get +2 damage. So it is what it is, right? But the cool thing is, I think it's cheaper than incendiary arrows. Yeah, you get it for Donzo as well, but you know, they're melee infantry. So why did I put them in A tier? I mean, javelin throwers, really good in feudal. They fall off later. Malian archers in castle with poison arrow, easily the best by far. Probably the most, I mean, the best unit by far in castle as far as range units go. Might even be as far as units go. And then you have Musafati gunners, which are pretty good in Imperial. Now, Malian struggles for different reasons in Imperial, but all those things is why, in my opinion, Malians are A tier. Mainly because how strong archers are. If archers didn't exist, I would honestly maybe even put them below Delhi. But just because how impactful archers are, we give them the A tier. And then last but not least, we have Abacid. Twitch chat, give me your guesses. Where does Abacid go? D, B, C, A? You guys are crazy. Abacid goes to A tier. I'm not sure if they're better or worse than Malian. They're probably worse just because of Poison Arrow being broken, but Abacid range units are absolutely insane. Why are they insane? Well, let's get into it. So, Abacid, first thing they have is unique upgrade for their archers in castle, which is called composite bows, and it gives them 33% reload time. They shoot like they got a machine gun. They just boop, 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 and they absolutely destroy anything. And actually their DPS is so much higher that they noticeably do a lot of damage to armored units as well, because they're shooting a lot faster. Their crossbows have nothing, their hand cannoneers have nothing, but they have an upgrade called Boot Camp, which gives them 15% health to all infantry units. So if you go military wing, not only you will get access to composite bows, you will also get access to Boot Camp, which is 15% health flat. Also, another thing that you can get, or you do get, is you get 20% production speed if you get Golden Age 3, which is not too relevant specifically to archers, but I just wanted to mention since I mentioned the Mongol one. And then last but not least, we got Camel Archers. Now let me tell you about these bad boys. Camel Archers, Keck W in Feudal. Omega Lulin Castle. In Imperial though, god damn, they are absolutely insane. They do so much DPS. They are cavalry, so you can also run by with them, but they actually got massive nerfs because they used to be unbeatable to the point where you could just make camel archers against anything and they would kill everything. Right now, they're still extremely good. If you trade resource for resource, they will actually beat out on hand cannoneers, because hand cannoneers cost gold and camel archers don't. They just cost food and wood. So you can actually trade really well against hand cannoneers and expensive gold units. They also have 15% movement speed upgrade in Blacksmith that you can get for them. And the last part of military wing, which you get in Imperial, is you get an upgrade that is called, I don't really know what it's called, and that gives, every time you have a camel, or I don't know if it's camel archer specific actually. I'm not actually sure. But every time you have a camel archer, you will also give +2 melee. It's camel unit, okay. You will get +2 melee and +2 ranged unit on your infantry. So if you got 50 spearmen and 50 hand cannoneers, if you make one camel archer with that army, they will all get +2/+2 armor. Which is insane. If you think about it, it's fucking insane. So if you're playing Abbasid, if you're playing Imperial, make sure you have camels in your army. Because not only they... Last thing, I almost forgot to mention. In Imperial, camels give you +2/+2 armor, but not only that, they debuff the enemy cavalry's damage by 20%. Which is crazy. So, camels in Feudal and Castle, so-so, but camels in Imperial, they just give so many different things. And Abbasid, part of the reason why Abbasid is one of the best civs in the late game is because of camels. Because they're very cheap, they cost food and wood. You can also do great trade with Abbasid, so you can get resources very easily, but just the raw power of their units is very, very strong. And I almost forgot, you can create mangonels, springles, rams, and siege tower without researching siege engineering. So you can actually create mangonels or springles on the siege with your ranged units as well. Not with camels, but with ranged units. And that is it. That's where I base, and that's why I base this tier list. There it is. Right there. Boom. Mongols can too? Yeah, but they suck and you gotta research it too. If you're watching on YouTube, check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now playing either Age of Empires or Diablo. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.